Welcome to the show. There's major news surrounding the Save America Act, and to be clear, it's the Save America Act, not just the SAVE Act. True Republicans in Congress are taking a stand. Reno John Thune thought he could end the speculation on Wednesday by ruling out the talking filibuster, believing that would relieve the pressure he's been facing. That plan has backfired in a big way. The pressure campaign exploded overnight. Thune's position is looking increasingly unstable. Meanwhile, Democrats are starting to crack on voter ID as well. We saw Van Jones yesterday, not a politician, but deeply embedded in Democratic politics, urging his fellow Democrats to come to the table on the Save America Act. Don't reject it, he said. Own it, engage with it, and get something you want out of it when it comes to national voter ID. Your base supports it. 71 to 75% of Democrats want it. Get in the game. And now it's actually happening. It's not just Van Jones anymore. Democratic politicians, members of Congress, and the Senate are getting involved. Ladies and gentlemen, the Save America Act has just been brought back to life. Let's start here. The House Freedom Caucus has essentially ignited a civil war within the Republican Party. Thune's own colleagues are running ads against him on CNN, Fox News, and across the country. Roll the tape.
The House Freedom Caucus led in passing the Save America Act in the House to require voter ID and citizenship to vote in federal elections. Now it goes to the Senate. You're going to hear the excuse that it needs 60 votes to pass there, but that's not true. Senate rules allow bringing the Save America Act to the floor at any time. If 51 Republicans show up, Democrats would have to filibuster, standing and talking, hour after hour, to block it. As long as Republicans show a backbone and stay united, Democrats will eventually run out of time to talk. Tell your senator to make the Democrats actually debate instead of just giving in to them. The House Freedom Caucus says the Senate should support President Trump and the House in passing this law essential to saving America.
Real Republicans are furious over Senate Majority Leader John Thune's comments Wednesday evening when he thought he had put to rest the widespread speculation and pressure to invoke a talking filibuster for the Save America Act by ruling it out entirely. Not so fast. Yesterday, President Trump summoned Thune to the White House and made clear what he expects. Get this bill passed and get it to his desk. That is your job, John Thune. And to be absolutely clear, the excuse he's been using, that his 53-seat majority doesn't have the votes, is bogus. It's simply not true. They only need 50 votes, and they have them. Thune claims he's worried that the 50 Republican co-sponsors won't vote down potential Democratic amendments during a talking filibuster. That's his stated reason for refusing to invoke it. But ensuring that doesn't happen is his job. Being Senate Majority Leader means running the chamber. You hold the power. You have the leverage to make things happen. Thune controls which Republicans sit on committees and which don't. He has significant influence over fundraising. He can threaten to cut off funding to Republicans who don't vote the right way. Those are just a few of the tools available to him, not to mention the harder-edged tactics that McConnell used to find votes, or that Harry Reid used to deliver for Obama. Bottom line, if Thune can't do the job, he shouldn't have it. Though it's worth noting, Thune served as McConnell's whip for nearly a decade. He knows exactly how this works. He watched McConnell do it and helped make it happen. This morning, President Trump posted in all caps, "It's the Save America Act, not the SAVE Act." Republicans must adopt that name. It's far more powerful and descriptive. Over the past 24 hours, calls to replace Thune as majority leader have exploded. Republicans have turned on him. Talk of his removal has gone thermonuclear on social media. Remove John Thune. Ask yourself, Why would a majority leader refuse to use every tool at his disposal to pass a bill that has 95% support within his own party? Elon Musk is publicly questioning whether Thune is compromised. Senator John Thune is being called a rhino traitor. People are saying he's a Democrat in disguise. MAGA influencers want him gone. And to be crystal clear about who John Thune really is, he's one of the last remaining old guard Republicans in the Senate. 10 months ago, there was a major push to block him from becoming majority leader, but he got the job against MAGA's wishes. There's a small group of these establishment Republicans still in place, and he's one of them. He served under Mitch McConnell in Senate leadership for over a decade and was McConnell's closest ally. In 2016, he wrote that Donald Trump should withdraw and that Mike Pence should immediately become the nominee. He is a rhino. He is not loyal to President Trump. His loyalty is to the D.C. machine and the old Republican establishment. It's time for him to go. And here's something worth remembering from 10 months ago when Thune was chosen as majority leader. There was an intense campaign to stop it. Charlie Kirk was involved. The base wanted Senator Rick Scott. We lost that fight, and we're paying for it now. But Rick Scott, who would likely be Thune's replacement, is now going all in. He's leading the charge to rally GOP holdouts and push them to agree to a talking filibuster. Here's what he just said.
Loved it. I love that the president was so on board the State of the Union address for the Save America Act to secure elections. All right. Now, if you support this, you should share this and also call every politician you know and say, pass the Save America.
The push to pass the Save America Act has now reached peak momentum, and we know this because Democrats have started to fold, suddenly signaling support for voter ID under certain conditions. Just a few weeks ago, they wouldn't give this bill the time of day. Ask them about it, and they'd shake their heads and smirk, oh, it's dead on arrival. But today, they're negotiating and giving ground. Even.
The administration calls it the Save America Act, which would mandate strict voter ID requirements. That's already passed the House, and the majority leader, John Thune, says he will call it for a Senate vote next week. So what does that leave Democrats in terms of options on that?
I'm not opposed to having photo ID for elections. I'm opposed to having stupid requirements for photo ID. So under the Extreme Save Act, basically your driver's license doesn't count. You have to prove U.S. citizenship. You know how hard that is for a number of Americans? If you don't have a passport, pretty hard to prove that unless you can somehow find your birth certificate.
You only see that kind of shift when a bill has genuine momentum. And why do we want the talking filibuster invoked? Because right now, it's the only path to passage without eliminating the filibuster altogether, but also because this is a 90-10 issue. It carries roughly 80% approval even among Democrats. It's common sense. If the talking filibuster is invoked, Democrats would be forced to stand before the entire country and argue, to explain to 80% of their own voters why those voters are wrong, why 90% of the country is wrong, why national voter ID is a bad idea, why proof of citizenship is something they oppose. Make them explain themselves. Make them stand up and say it out loud. Remember what happened at the State of the Union when Trump said, "Stand if you agree with this"? America saw Democrats for exactly what they are. Why won't John Thune use that same strategy, Trump's State of the Union strategy, to get this bill across the finish line? That's a question worth asking. And it makes you look twice at Elon Musk's post from yesterday, questioning whether John Thune might be owned by someone, maybe Mitch McConnell. All right, that's a wrap on this episode. Like and subscribe. We'll see you very soon.
Donald Trump is the Republican nominee. Would you support him?
Well, I'm hoping, Leanne, to have other options. And
verdict in the Trump trial could come next week if he's convicted. Could you support him still?
I'm not. We'll see how the trial comes out. I'm not weighing in on that.
Senator John Thune, the number 2 Senate Republican, warned on Monday that efforts to challenge the Electoral College vote in Congress next month would fall short in the Senate. Thune told reporters, quote, "I mean, in the Senate, it would go down like a shot dog. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense to put everybody through this when you know what the ultimate outcome is going to be."
President-elect Trump involved in, does he have a chosen preference in the Senate? Do you know?
Honestly, I think my preference would be, and I think it's probably in his best interest, to stay out of that. These Senate secret ballot elections are probably best left to senators.